Yes. You know that is going down. But everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to be okay. So let's rock,
appears
y'all.
you're calling back into a live show.
Here we
We are
go. Here we
reconnecting you
go.
now.
Here we go. Yeah. Uh. Everything is gonna be all right, and everything is gonna be okay. Take a rest now, and everything is gonna be all right. Watching people when they doing their thing. Yeah, you test. Wow. Urban Therapy with Sun 752. And this is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. And today, on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, we are talking about when worms move fast. When worms move fast, let me explain to y'all exactly what I'm talking about today. When worms move fast, worms, snails, little slimy things that you don't expect to be able to get from one place to another place and with any type of speed. But when you're not paying attention to something, you see how fast it can go. Like when you're not paying attention to the time, you see how fast time flies, right? How fast time passes. When you're not paying attention to somebody growing up, you see how fast they have grown up because you weren't there, you weren't paying attention, you weren't listening, you weren't bearing witness. Well, when we start talking about when worms move fast, when we start talking about worms and snails, we're talking about something that's slimy. We're talking about something that doesn't move very fast. But if you don't pay attention to it, you'll notice that it gets a lot farther in distance and in places than you would ever expect. When the worms come out of with the rain, they make sure that you're going to feel the pain. If you're not paying attention, they bite and they get slimy and you don't understand what's going on, but they're grimy. And just like people be moving fast when you don't look. And when you're not paying attention, you can get shook and you could be shaking. You mistaken for them for something that's really slow, but they really know how to go. So that's what we're talking about today. When worms move fast. When you ever know somebody whose intelligence that you have undermined or underestimated, when you know somebody that probably doesn't seem like they care about certain things or like they would move in certain types of ways, you thought they were slow, but you didn't really realize how fast they could go. And look at you. Oh no. Got yourself having to explain how come you got dissed by somebody who comes out in the rain when it's stormy and when it don't feel good and when the ground is wet. You would really think that everybody's in the house, but they done got a lot of places in and out. Slimy people, sneaky people. Yeah, they always get farther than you think that they would get. They always move faster than you think that they would move. They always know places and people that you would never think that they knew or would go. Let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. We do this every single Sunday from 1 p.m. till around 2:30-ish. And the reason that we say 2:30-ish is because sometimes it gets so heated that we just have to do a little OT on a Sunday. And it is Sunday. This is the show where adults come out and play with other adults. We laugh, we cry, we argue, fuss, and fight, go back and forth with each other, bust it up all crazy. We take an introspective look into our own personality to see the way that the world projects us into this thing called, we take a look at our own personality to see the way that the universe projects us into this thing called the world and try to figure out this thing called life. I am your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the. And if you can't say Omar with the, well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feel like real men and women should also. Today on the Urban Therapy with Sun show, we are talking about when worms move fast. When worms move fast. You look at a worm, you look at a snail, you look at any little garden, even a snake. But we know that snakes move way faster than we're comfortable with. So we're gonna stay with the worms and the snails, because one of the major differences between worms, snails, and snakes is that we look at worms and snails as being slimy to the touch. Even when they slither by or wiggle by or whatever, you see a trail that they've left. It's not the same thing with a snake. If you've ever touched a snake, you realize that it's not slimy at all. It has a funny feel to it, but it's not slimy. Scaly a little bit, but they don't feel wet. But we know that a snake can move fast, way too fast. We know that snakes bite. We don't know snails and worms to bite, even though some do. But we very rarely hear somebody complain about a snail bite or a worm bite. But those snakes are different. So we're not going to have that conversation about snakes today. Well, I want to say a little something about these worms. I want to say a little something about these snails, because snails and worms can be very unassuming. Very unassuming. You're probably not in love with worms or snails, but you're probably not afraid of them either. Probably not. I'm not saying that none of us are, because you can normally find a creature, an animal, an organism that everybody is afraid, that somebody is afraid of. So we're gonna get into this today. T. Carey Wright, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. And Shirley Cheryl, the world's most precious, greatest pearl in the world. Good to see you, girl. Thanks for coming on through, y'all. Appreciate me some you. And you know that's true. Like I said, snails and worms are very unassuming, just like some people that we know. Very unassuming. Doesn't seem to be very aware. You don't know how smart they are one way or another, whatever, but they don't seem to be trying to outsmart a bunch of people. They don't seem to be very confrontational. They don't seem to be in anybody else's business, but that's what slimy and sneaky people are. That's how they do. If you've ever known somebody who was slimy and sneaky, now wait a minute, because they're not the same thing. So hold on. Let me slow down. Sneaky people. Each and every one of us has a sneaky person in our lives. Sometimes they were our brothers and sisters. Sometimes they were our cousins. Sometimes they were our parents. Sometimes they were our friends. But we've all known somebody who was very sneaky. Always going somewhere, doing something on the low. Always getting a little. Yeah. We all know somebody who's sneaky. We all know somebody who knows how to pick a lock. We all know somebody who knows how to open up a window. We all know somebody who knows a shortcut to somewhere. We all know somebody who knows somebody who we didn't know that they knew. We all know somebody who has somebody's phone number that they ain't got no business knowing. We all know somebody who gets involved in conversations that don't involve them, or finds themselves interjected into situations that you didn't know that they were involved in, or you knew that they weren't supposed to be involved in. We all know somebody who knows something that's going on with everybody. We all know them. We all know somebody who steals. We all know somebody like that. We all know somebody who borrows without asking. We all know somebody who listens to conversations that are supposed to be kept private. We all know somebody who just employs a little bit too many surveillance techniques. We all know somebody like that. Sneaky people. Sneaky. We all know somebody who's at a place that nobody was supposed to be there, and they got there before you got there. Like, what the hell? And you don't even know how they got there. You know what I'm talking about. We all know that person. We all know that situation. We've all been there. Sneaky people. That's a little bit different from slimy people, because slimy people they gain your confidence, they gain your trust, They portray themselves as being reliable, trustworthy, that sort of thing. Good integrity. But what do they do with the trust that you have instilled in them? What do they do with the reliability that you have labeled them with? They go behind your back, talk bad about you, mess around with people that you're involved with. A slimy person will introduce you to your side piece, whether it's man or woman, whatever. They'll introduce you to them. Hook y'all up. And then tell your main John what's going on. Yeah. Now they're gaining the trust of your spouse, your lover. Because it's true. Whatever they're telling them, yeah, it's true. Because they know for a fact that it's true because they hooked you up. Slimy. Grimy. Make sure that secrets are never kept secret. That's what slimy people do. You know, they do things behind the scenes that are detrimental to whatever is going on with you. And they're never going to admit that you were the reason that the cops came. I'm sorry. They're never going to admit that they were the reason that the cops showed up. They were the reason that the court knew what was happening. They'll never admit that. And unless you get to know them very well, you didn't know that either. Slimy. You know? They're the type that will encourage you to pull the fire alarm and then tell the teachers or the principals or whoever that they should check for everybody who might have ink on their hands. You know, the fire alarm, when you pull the fire alarm, John, it squirts out the ink on your hands. Yeah. Everybody on the first floor should probably have their hands checked. You know, the slimy person knows who's going to get caught. They promoted that. They're never going to keep your secrets. They're always going to tell somebody what's going on with you. But they're never going to admit that they were the person who told on you, that ratted you out, that played you. Slimy. Slimy people are never 100%, or I ain't going to say that. They're never really that good for anybody. Because they too busy trying to take you up out of here and pretending like they didn't have nothing to do with it. Do you understand? Do you stand? Well, that's what we're talking about today on the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. If y'all would like to call into the show, I invite y'all to call in. And the number to call is area code 319-527-6199. That's the number to call. I said a 319-527-6199. Yes, y'all. 319-527-6199. Yeah, get on the line. I said a 319-527-6199. Yeah, get your shine, baby. Press number 1 and that will let me know that you would like to speak, and then I will call you out by the last 4 digits of your telephone number. You can rock on it, do the damn thing. It's the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. So, Stacy White, what's going on? Thanks for coming on through. Appreciate me some you. And let's see. Cheryl says, the people are all around us, and if we're not careful, we may become just like them in one shape or another. Wow. Well, you know what? You're kind of right. When you think about if your mom or your dad was like a worm or a snail. But here's the qualifications for you for a person being like a worm or a snail versus a snake. We know what snakes do. We know what snakes do. So we're not surprised when a snake acts like a snake. But see what these worms do is partly our fault and partly their fault. It's our fault because we should make sure that we check everybody at the door. We have to vet everybody, and we fail to do that sometimes. It's their fault because they have. Wait a minute. I have to add on to our fault. We painted them or looked at them as being unassuming, not dangerous, almost like sucker-like. So that's our deal, and that's our problem. Their part in it is that they have portrayed themselves to be unassuming, non-dangerous, like they mind their own business, like they don't know about certain things, don't care about certain things, and aren't involved and don't want to be involved in certain things. Meanwhile, they got they all up in the mix, all up in it. They got the 411 on everybody. They spilling the tea on everybody. And they can be trusted by nobody. But when we talk about being a snail or a worm, we don't think that worms and snails move very fast. But if you ever see a worm or a snail, and you watch them, move in whatever direction that they're going to, you go ahead and do whatever it is that you're doing. Come back a minute or two later and see how far that snail or that worm has traveled. And you're like, wow. How did they move that fast? How did they get this far moving at that pace from the last time I saw them? And that's how worms and snails get over. Because we underestimate them. We thought we had them clocked at a certain speed. And maybe they stayed at that speed. But you know how fast time goes when you're not paying attention to the time. You know it, I know it. How time flies when you're having fun. And when you're having fun, you ain't looking at that clock. You're not watching your watch. You're too busy having fun. Sucking up all the good times. Living in the moment. Anyway, meanwhile, that worm, that slimy worm, or that snail, that slimy snail, they just keep moving and moving and moving and wiggling and wiggling and slithering and slithering and yeah. So I guess worms and snails keep their focus on the objective of wherever they're going. So they're going to always move faster than we think that they could move. And they're always going to be in places where we never thought that they could get to unless they were driven, whatever. When worms move fast, baby, how did you get there that fast, you slimy worm? You slimy worm. Let me tell y'all what I did. All right, this is dandelion and red clover tea, right? So the reason it has that darker look is because instead of I normally use honey. I normally use honey to sweeten my tea, but I used I decided to use maple syrup. I mean, maple syrup is, bee honey comes from bees. Maple syrup comes from trees. So I'm thinking, like, how come vegans don't be hyping up maple syrup? It's plant based. It can't get more plant based than coming from a maple tree. Maple syrup is working. It's a good sweetener. So if the honey gets too expensive, you can always substitute it with this maple syrup. Not that the maple syrup is cheap. And I ain't talking about no log cabin or no Miss Butterworth. That good. That good. Log cabin. I used to like log cabin syrup. Is log cabin maple syrup though? I know that maple syrup gives you more per ounce. It may be cheaper per ounce than honey is. Well, raw honey anyway. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it mizuvin. Crush grizuvin. Body mizuvin. Cheryl Hudson says sometimes people think that they are being helpful, but turn around and hurt you in the long run. You don't think that they hurt you on purpose? Sometimes people run their mouths so much that they hurt people by mistake. But I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. All I know is this. If you told somebody not to say something, and they told somebody something about what they were told by you not to say, I mean, what are we talking about? Huh? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Cheryl Hudson says, she asked, have you ever had a slimy person with good intentions? No, because that's not what slimy. Every person I've ever known who was slimy, they were slimy on purpose. They knew exactly what they were doing. That's why they slimy. That's why I had to make that's why I had to make the distinction between being slimy and being sneaky. Sometimes you could be sneaky, not with bad intentions. You just newsy. You can just be newsy. So you want to get in on this conversation because you just feel like you gotta know. Sneaky. Just making sure that you make your moves when nobody else is around. Sneaky. Mm-hmm. You can be sneaky. You don't necessarily have to be slimy. But it's hard to be slimy without being sneaky. Because when you slimy, the reason that I'm even calling you slimy is because you're dirty. You're nasty. You're messy. It's hard to be slimy without being dirty, nasty, and like nasty to the touch. Like, yeah, I don't want to touch this person. They slimy. Slimy, grimy, greasy. So nah, I never knew anybody that was slimy. They had good intentions. I've only known slimy people to make people think that they had good intentions. I've only known slimy people to act like they had good intentions. They like to gain your confidence because they know if they make you feel comfortable, you'll share more and more information that they'll share with somebody else, making you look bad. And that's another thing that slimy people do. They will paint themselves as being your equal, your friend, your day one. Meanwhile, they go behind your back and talk about you like a dog, like a straight dog. Okay. Hey, what's going on? Okay, that's cool. All right, cool. Okay, that's cool. All right, all right. Bye. Sorry, y'all had to take that kids off. That was something like an emergency. Not an emergency, but an important thing. Sure says, is the maple syrup a sweeter sweetener? I think so. You don't seem to have. I think so. I don't think you have to use as much maple syrup as you do honey to get something sweet. More than likely, you'll wind up overdoing it with the maple syrup because you'll think like, I don't think that's enough, and then it might wind up being way more than you thought. What's up, Ed? Huh? Okay, you gonna be on camera? Okay. I'm just saying. So look.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, you'll wind up probably using too much of the maple syrup because you think because it's lighter than the honey. The honey is thick, so you'll be thinking like, all right, the honey is thick, so I don't have to use as much because it takes more to break it down. So you'll be thinking like the because the maple syrup is thinner, you be thinking that maybe it's not as sweet or whatever. No, you don't need as much. But this tea is really, really good. So yeah, slimy person, slimy people are always sneaky, but they always sneaky for negative reasons. They always are intentionally tearing something down. Like they might not want to hurt you bad, but they definitely were not trying to help you. They definitely were not trying to help you. And they always are messing you up in places and with people that you didn't think that they would be able to get to. When we talking about the worms and the snails, I didn't even know you knew such and such. Yeah, they knew them. Sometimes they've known them before you did, and they ain't say nothing. Sometimes they know people that you didn't know that they knew, that you know, and they knew them before you knew them. They ain't say nothing. Grimy. Stacey White says, I have great discernment when it comes to snakes, even the ones in my family. I can understand. Personally, I'm not a fan of snakes. I don't care whether it's a garter snake or a king cobra. I don't like me no snake. I'm not afraid of snakes, but I'm like, what kind of animal is that? What kind of aminal? What kind of aminal is that? Are snakes animals? Is there a difference between a creature and an animal? Let me see. I know something. There's a difference between my allergies and a cold. This is getting on my nerves today. Okay. Is there a difference between an animal and a creature?
According to dictionary.com, this shows grade level based on the word's complexity. An animal, especially a non-human. The creatures of the woods and fields. A creature from outer space. Anything created, whether animate or inanimate. Person. Human being. She is a charming creature.
Interesting. You can refer to any living thing that is not a plant as a creature, especially when it is of unknown or unfamiliar kind. People also refer to imaginary animals and beings as creatures. You know, I never really took a look at the word creature. And I was wondering if they were going to say something about the origin of the word creature, because it looks like the origin of the word creature is create. So are creatures something? Well, no, they already answered the question I was about to bring up. Wait, what makes a creature an animal? Animals are multicellular eukaryotes. I'm sorry, eucar you eukaryotes. Eukaryotes whose cells are bound together by collagen. Animals dominate human conceptions of life on Earth because of their size, diversity, abundance, and mobility. The presence of muscles and mobility is one of the primary characteristics of the animal kingdom. Hmm. So the definition of creature is something created by either, no, I'm sorry, something created either animate or inanimate, such as a lower animal, especially a farm animal, a human being, a being of anomalous or uncertain aspect or nature, creatures of fantasy. All right. Well, so maybe if we don't like the animal, we consider it to be a creature, like insects. Do y'all consider insects to be animals? If you look at their face, they're definitely creatures. But what do you think? Are insects, bugs, are they animals to you? Well, anyway, when we talk about being slimy, when we talk about being slimy, what we talking about? What I'm talking about? We talking about something that leaves a trail, something that feels funny, it's maybe sticky to the touch, maybe cold. Yeah, would you would you associate something that was slimy with being warm? Is there such thing as being warm and slimy, or is slimy always cold? Huh? Slimy. Come on, y'all. I'm talking to y'all. Don't let the cat get your tongue now. We trying to figure out these words. Stacy says, I don't like nothing creepy and crawling. I'm trying to get used to my cat. My note, nah. She knows that I don't like when she goes across me real fast. So she tries to tip. Okay. See, I read that right for you, Stace. You ain't write that right. That thing looking all crazy. But I got you. I got you. Somebody get this nose. I'm like, not now, man. It's like, yeah, now, man. Now, man. All right. Now, man. Okay. So, when worms move fast, worms be moving way faster than you thought that they would move. They be in places that you never really thought that they would be in. They having conversations that you never thought that they would be involved in. They are way closer to you than you would probably be comfortable with if you knew about it. But a lot of times you don't even know what's going on. You don't know. Shirley Show says, when a snake wraps around you, you feel a warm. Oh, you feel warm in a deadly way. Show says my nose is being nosy. It sure is. It's funny because when your allergies start really messing with you, it's like they not going to stop. They're like, no, you going to get this work. No, I'm not finished. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm him. Slimy, baby. Slimy. Slimy. Yeah. Cats will put you in certain positions. They will definitely put you in certain positions. And when you sleep on them, they are very awake for you. Now, they won't hurt you always directly, but they're hurting you indirectly. And you didn't expect that. And it shouldn't be all of that surprising that they would hurt you, because, you know, when you have worms inside your body, worms aren't always on the street. They're not always in the grass. There's so many different kind of worms. But one thing is for sure, when you have worms inside your body, that's never a good thing. They're eating you from the inside. You're sick if you got worms. You're already dead in some ways if worms
90 seconds.
If worms are coming to holler at you. By the way, yeah, we're gonna shorten the show today. We can't go but so long today. As a matter of fact. I've been too
60
strong for
seconds.
too long, and I can't be without you, baby. Okay. Okay, we good? We all right now. Not my nose. Not my nose. My nose doing things. But we're gonna be all right. We'll be okay, man. When worms move fast, nobody knew that a worm could go that fast. Stacy says, I can't deal with my allergies. I got me some allergy medications. Pound Olivia. That's dope. Work phone. going off in the background. What we got? Oh, by the way, make sure that y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the daily. Nope. It's actually the Urban Therapy with Sun show. So we're talking about when worms move fast. Do my eyes look red? They feel like they look red. I'm going through it over here. My brother Lawrence Sekel. My brother Lawrence Sekel is all up in the house. What's going on? Stacey White says, this is a good show today. But it's also creepy. Yeah. But like I said, man, these slimy people, and we all have slimy people in our lives. The thing about it is you don't really realize a lot of times where that somebody that you're dealing with or have dealt with or maybe about to deal with is slimy. They somewhere slithering, leaving a trail from where they've been slithering. Yeah, slithering. They all on their belly, making moves on their belly. Getting to places farther than you thought that they would get to. You know, like I said, a lot of it is our fault for underestimating people. Nah, such and such would never do that. Oh, no, they ain't about that life. Oh, no, they ain't into that. Or why would such and such ever do that? Why would they? Nah, you barking up the wrong tree. That's not them. Or they don't know nothing about that. They ain't, you know. Those be the ones that get you. Those be the ones that get you with they slimy ass. Slimy people don't mean you no good, dog. They don't mean you no good. They will take you up off of here. You sleep if you want. Sleep if you dare. And like I said, they've gotten to places way farther and way faster than you thought that they would ever get to. Just like that snail or that worm that you walked away from, and when you came back, that joint was gone. On some cartoon shit. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? It's Urban Therapy with Sun show, baby. It most certainly is. Right. So, what do we do? What do we do? What do you do when you're dealing with somebody who is worm-like, snail-like, grimy-like, slimy-like, slithery-like? What do you do when you're dealing with somebody who's acting very serpent-like? Serpente! 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 What do you do? I mean, at the end of the day, I imagine that there are only really two options that you could explore in the situation. You're either going to put those people out of your life, or hookah, 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 or 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 you're going to have to find a way to deal with them and neutralize them so that they can't hurt you as much as they intend to do. I advocate, well, you know what? I'm going to say this. I was getting ready to say, yo, cut the head off the snake or eliminate the worm the same way that you would try to eliminate the snake. But I have to also remember that there's some situations where you cannot eliminate a person and where you actually have to work with a person, like at work. At work, it might be a situation where you're dealing with somebody who is slimy at your job, but there's a salary that's involved. There's a career choice that's involved. There's a there's a time frame and responsibilities and bills and things like that that you have to take into consideration. So the option to just cut somebody out of your life or stop dealing with them altogether may not be there. So you may have to deal with them on some type of level. How do you deal with them on a level that will not hurt you in the future? That's probably what we should deal with. Well, maybe first of all, you should make the conscious effort to recognize who they are and to know how far you can take them or where you have to leave them behind. Maybe that's what we have to do first and foremost. Before we go any farther, I'm not sharing any more personal information with you. All of that hanging out and all of that's done. I'm going to really limit my involvement with you, but I have to be smart enough to limit my involvement with you without making it look like it's over any particular incident. In other words, I'm going to become extremely busy. Too busy, too busy, too busy, too busy. Can't get there. I'm gonna hang out with you next time. I ain't know that. Oh, I forgot that thing was up. I'm gonna get back. I got me a doctor's note. I was sick last week with COVID. Yeah, yeah, yo. That might be what you have to do. You might have to limit your involvement with somebody, mitigate mitigate your involvement with somebody, or mitigate your interaction with somebody without making it look like you're doing it because you found out something or because you're angry or upset or disenchanted with them. No, it's not that. You know, my mama been sick for a good while, and I can't lose her. I'm an only child, and and you know she loves me, and I love her, and she all we got. And I feel some kind of way, and I can't live like this. I ain't blowing up the spot. Everything is gonna be okay. I'm gonna wrench this thing out of your way, but I'm gonna get back with you soon as her health improves, and I'm gonna do my thing to make moves. And your thing that you be putting out there, I really think that I doubt there will be a better situation that we can get into, because I'm really not messing with you. You's a slimy boo. What happens when the person that's slimy is somebody that you're dealing with, somebody that you're in love with? Ever been in love with a slimy person? Have you? Have you? Have you ever been in love with a slimy person where you didn't even feel like it was it was possible for you to tear yourself away from them? You know that they don't mean you no good, and you know that they keep messing things up for you, and you know that the love that you have for them is not being reciprocated by anything that they're doing for you or doing towards you or doing to you. But you in love with them. It's more than just a physical thing. Yeah, they keep you coming. Sometimes they don't. But there's something about them. They got a hold on you, baby. Sometimes it's for convenience, and sometimes it's because y'all have history, and sometimes it's because y'all had children. Sometimes it's because of your own ego. You know, you don't want the neighbors, you don't want the co-workers, you don't want the family members, you don't want your friends to ever look at you as being in a failed situation. You know how people get when they talk about marriage? You know what I mean? I can't let my marriage fail. You know what I mean? People have stayed in a marriage because they didn't want to deal with people looking at them like it's a failure, totally ignoring the fact that for a marriage to fail, quote unquote, that both parties have to agree that it's no longer successful. But holla at that. Holla at that. Shirley Cheryl says we do the best we can and pray we don't get snaked or slimed. Well, that's pretty profound of you there, Cheryl. Put it in God's hands is what I'm getting from that. Well, personally, I believe that the Lord is responsible for everything that we do and every waking moment of our lives. I think that he's in total control, but I also think that we don't have the mental capacity to understand the plot, the plan, and the reason that the Lord does what he does. So in many rights, you may be right. We just have to put it in God's hands. But sometimes, many times, all the goddamn time, God gives us the motivation, the inspiration, and all of the tools that we need in order to make the moves that we need to make. Especially when they're good moves, especially when they're good intended moves. So why lay on your back when God told you to get your ass up, nigga? Because the Lord say, it's time to get the snakes and the snails and the worms. It's time to get them about your life. Time to get them out your life. Yes. Whether husband or your wife, or a spouse or other things, love of your life, kings and queens. It's time to make those moves. It's time to do some things on show and prove. You gotta get your stuff together. And it doesn't really matter whether it's cold or hot weather. I know that you gotta get up out the spot that you're in. And now we're gonna start this right here. This is where we begin. I know that you got the good stuff in you, but sometimes you don't believe in yourself. And I know that it's kind of be like this, and you're gonna go after your health and wealth. And I know that you just feel, or should I say, you're gonna run your spill. And I know that we're gonna get there together, maybe separately, but whatever. I know that we're gonna be the best, but not today. But we test ourselves on a daily basis, giving quizzes, and I know what time it is. This saith the Lord. Saith the Lord. All things are possible through Christ. So get that no good bastard out your life. I said all things are possible through Christ. So get that nut ass bastard, that bitch out of your life. I said all things are possible with Christ, and I ain't even trying to blaspheme. And they put it on a meme, but I'm trying to tell y'all, you gotta clean up your team. Gotta be a better coach. Stop mile like a roach, and you don't have to get violent, but don't stay silent. And make sure that you get another place. No, this ain't a race. You don't have to move very, very fast, not like a snail or a worm. That's something for that ass. I am down with you. God damn, for real, son. Oh yeah, we gotta get ready to get him out of here, son. You know what I mean? We gotta get him out of here. But check it out. But check it out. Just remember, if you can conceive it, if you can believe it, you can conceive it. All right, let's get back on time. When worms move fast, if we don't take any lesson from this, the lesson that we probably should take more than anything else from this is that we should not underestimate anybody's intelligence or their ability or their intentions to do bad or good. Let's do these birthday shout outs. Yeah. Let's do them. Let's do these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious Warriors. September 4th. And they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Miss Brown Gal. Happy birthday to you, Miss Brown Gal. And also Casey Kroger. Casey Koger, sorry. And Jennifer Francois turning 28 years old today. And Jessica Medina turning 32 years old today. And Julia Bentley, happy birthday to you. And Nikari Lopez turning 29 years old today. And Christina Banks, happy birthday to you. And Troy Smith Jr. turning 29 years old today. And my girl, Tanya LaRue Morris. Go get her, Tanya LaRue. Turning 60 years old today. A milestone, baby. A milestone. Happy birthday to you, Tanya. And my man, going all the way back to the 1985, my man, Frank Dilworth. Frank Dilworth. Know this brother from Homeroom. And last but not least, Nzinga. What's the last name? Nzinga. We're going to say Ike. Or is it Ike? AYCH. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all and anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious September 4th. I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, hey, yo. Sometimes anything that you fail to pay attention to, anything that you put out of your mind, anything that you turn away from is going to advance, move, and progress faster than you thought it would. They always say time flies when you're having fun because you're not paying attention to the time. When you're watching the clock, time goes by extremely slow. But when you find something else to do and occupy your time, then it moves fast. And sometimes we find everything to occupy our time and attention, except for the people who are grimy, slimy, wormy, and snaily. But let's make sure that we dip, dive, socialize. Open up your ears and open up your eyes. Open up your eyes and what do you see? You see the SLIMY. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. I love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow for another Daily Go-Getterism show. But tomorrow is Labor Day. So I want y'all to, yo, man. You know what, man? I might do the show early tomorrow. I might do. Anyway. Not saying that I definitely am, so I'm not going to obligate myself to that because sometimes I don't be feeling like doing that. But anyway, I want y'all to have a great day, man. If you can't have a great day, have a day that's even better. All right, so Blog Talk, we're gonna get you out of here. Yes, we are. Yeah. Yeah. Make sure y'all hit that like button, share button, and subscribe to the channel. And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boobers.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Well, peace to you too. I holla.